everyone, welcome back to the full stack web development course. If you have went to the previous lecture, we have done the avatar as well as the logout button. It is not here appearing because here we have to give any values like to the user. So if we just refresh the page, you can see we do have the avatar as well as the logout button, but so let me just close this to null as well, and let me just refresh. So where did it just went? So let me just open the browser again. Okay, so we will just enter into load screen mode. So now let me just open localhost. So you can see now our navbar is fine enough. So now if I want to just go to the login page, I have to click this button. So if I just click this button, login page, the URL goes to auth, which is okay, but here is no auth component here. We don't need to have the login page here, but to make that, if you just remember the React router lecture, we do have to need the browser router, and inside that we need the navbar as well. So inside the navbar we got the link component. Inside the browser router we got the link component, but where is the route component? So if we code the route component here, it may go out up to 10 to 12 lines, because we have the login page here as well as we will have the home page, ask question page, as well as users page, tags page, and the log page. So if we just import everything here, it won't make the app.js file much more readable. If you want it much more readable, we will just create another file called all routes.jsx. So inside that we will just use the RIFCE shortcut, and we will just import few things like import routes, which is a new thing which we haven't used in the previous React router lecture. So routes as well, and then route, and that's it. We'll just import this from React router DOM. So inside this div, we will just remove this div. Instead we will use routes. So to make this as a component, we will just we need separate opening tags as well as closing tags. You may see here. So what routes are used to? Routes is used to just wrap every route inside routes. So that's why routes are used. So in here we will use routes. So inside here we will be having two prop as not a two prop is for link. Here we will be having path as well as component. Instead, in React router DOM 5.2.0, the new version, we got they have neglected the component, and they have included element, something called an element. We will look what is that. So first, the path is going to be /auth, because here's a typo, because here is AUTH. If you see, here is AUTH, so that's why I'm using the path as AUTH, and we got a new component prop called element, which allows a curly brace, and inside the curly brace we are gonna just have the author component here. So to make the auth component import here, we will just first create it inside the src as a inside a folder called pages. Here we will be having all our pages, and inside that we will create a folder called auth. So you may wonder why we are using a lot of folders and files. This is to make our code much more readable. That's why we are using that. And we need auth.jsx as well. And here we will just now, as of now, just have a RAFC factor. So now let me just close this, as well as we may create another folder called home to have home pages like so, and inside that we will create a file called home.jsx. So here also we will just have RAFC, that's it. So now here we will just let me just close this as well as this. Now let me just import home from dot slash pages slash home slash home home. That's it. And as well as we have to import auth from dot slash pages slash auth slash auth. So we have imported both of that, but here we gonna need since the path is about slash auth, we are gonna use this auth component inside this, but we don't have to pass this thing like this. We have to pass it as a component like this, like so. So this is how we can pass the element as well. Now since we are inside the auth, so let me just also do this for home. So for home we don't need auth, we just need the slash, and in here we'll just use home. That's it. So let me just save. We are inside auth now. So what we can do, we'll just now go to auth. We do have the auth here. We'll just have a h1 tag called auth page like so. So now let me just save and refresh here. This auth page is now, I think this is beside the Stack Overflow icon, because this neighbor is fixed position, is in a fixed position. So to indicate that we are inside the auth, we will just have an h1 tag with lorem. Like so. So now let me just refresh. It does nothing, which means we do have some other errors also. And see the neighbor, we have a link to auth. This is called login. So I mean say login, but it didn't work. So what I can do, so we have to use this all routes inside here. So that's how it will work. I forgot to import that all routes here. So to import that, we'll just have an import all routes. So name the component name. The component name should start with a capital letter. That's a convention to use. So just follow that. If you didn't, it may throw some warnings. So we'll just use it here as well. And now you can see now our so now we are inside the home as well as inside the auth, as well as we can now navigate to the auth page. Now if I just go to the home page, you can see we didn't use the home page inside the app. We actually don't have the app home inside the app, but eventually it is present. We are just routing the navbar to point the home. So that's how home page is displayed in the application without even mentioning its component inside the app. So that's how we have achieved that. So now to make the route thing clear, let me just explain another time. So we do have the browser router which should be wrapped with link inside the nav, and also the routes which are inside the old routes. So this is how we can implement nav bar for a live project. So this is how we have to deal with that. So now the next thing, we will target the we will just now style the auth page. To style that, let me just open the uh, project which we have already developed. It is called it is something like the Stack Overflow clone. Yeah, this is clone dash one .netlify.app. So inside that, so it is getting loaded. So now you can see this our application is here. So if I just go to the login page, you can see our login page is here, as well as I can just go to the sign up page. So this sign up as well as login is in the same page, but what some noob React developers do, they write a separate page for login as well as sign up. So which increases the lines of code, but to be practical as well as to be efficient, we can just code everything in a simple single file by using React. So we will see how to do that. So now we will just close this app as well as all routes as well as navbar. So we are inside this auth.jsx. So let me just clear these things. We don't need these things anymore, and we will just open the explorer. Inside that, we gonna need a auth css file. So let me just create that and let me just import it here. Import ./auth css. So we have imported that. So now what I can do, we will just start coding these things. We'll just go to so now what I can do, we will just first we will just create a use state variable. Sorry, a use state. We will just first create a use state variable called is sign up. So which equals to false actually if is sign up. So let me just first import this use state variable from React. To do that, we'll just do something like this. So if this is sign up is true, we are inside this inside the sign up. If sign up is false, we are inside the login page. So by default, we will just leave this as a login page, because at present we have to be inside the login page, because uh, the new users can just go to the sign up page by just clicking this sign up button. So if we are not in the login page, we have to first if we are not in the sign up page, first we have to just log in. So that's why by default we will be just inside the login page. After clicking the sign up button, we will just route to the sign up page. That's why what we are gonna do. So if sign up is true, means we are inside the sign up page like this. If it is false, we are inside the login page. That's what it means. So we will go here, and what we can do, we will just name these things as a section. I don't need a div tag. I will just use a section tag. and I can just give a class name here called auth dash section, like so. And here let me just close the make this as an auth, which is the auth section. And so first we will just style the login page. So now to get that, what we're gonna have is a div tag, and inside that we will have this icon first. So if this is a login page, we need to have this icon. So we will go here, and in this div we will just name this as a class name with class name called auth dash container. Sorry, I keep on getting this typo for this auth, I don't know why. So now what we can do, we will just say if is sign up is not true, which means if sign up is false, what we gonna do. So is sign up is not is sign up means if it is false, what we gonna do, we'll just display the image of that icon. I'm just gonna say src, which equals icon with alt of stack overflow, and then we will just give a class name for this as a login logo. So here I'm just going to give a login logo as a class name, login dash logo. So and then we do have to import this icon from the assets. So we will just do that first. What we can do, we will just import icon from dot slash, sorry, I have triple dot slash assets. So this dot slash means we are going one step back. So here we are going two steps back. So that's what these two things means. We will enter into the assets as well, and then what we're gonna do, we will just go to the icon.png, which is the thing which we are gonna use here as a icon.png. So if you just refresh, you can see it is here. So what is here? Here is no, it just shows it is a search. The icon is not imported currently in the auth, but it has to be. So now it is imported here correctly, but this icon now will be present inside below the navbar, because this navbar is in a position of fixed, which means it is above everything. The z index is almost 5 for this navbar, that's why it is not visible. So now it might be below that. That's it. So now we will just create a form for authentication. To use a form, we will just use a form tag. So we don't need an action, and we'll just inside that, what we're gonna just have a label called label. Inside that we're gonna have a HTML h4, and inside that we will just have an email, and with that email I'm just going to use an input tag also. The input type is gonna be the same as email. So the input type is going to be email, as well as name, which equals name. We'll just leave it as name. I will explain what this name is used to. And we're going to have the ID ID is gonna be username. I will explain what is ID is used. So this ID has to be, sorry, this ID is an email now. We will just leave this ID as an email, and the name is the same thing as email too. And then so we have to name the ID and the HTML4 as the same things. I will explain why we are using this as the same thing. I will just explain that. Wait, hold on. So and that's it. What we have, what we needed. So we will just copy paste these things and again another time, and we are gonna just remove email and just rename it with the password. So and then we want to just rename this type as password 2. So and we want to give a name as password 2, as well as the ID is going to be same thing as the HTML4, which is nothing but the password. So you can see now if I type anything inside password input, it is not visible. It is just a dot, which means which indicates the type as password. If I just give a type as password, it may just give everything as a single dot. And inside the email, if I just anything give a enter, it may show an error because the type is gonna be email. So if it is a text, it may allow that, but if it is a email, it may show an error here. So that's why we are using the type as email. And this ID, I told this ID and this HTML4 has to be the same thing. This is because, let me just remove this ID of HTML here. Let me just save this and let me just remove here. So now if I just click this input, the input tag has been selected. If I just click this email, the input tag is not selected. So but if I just give the ID as email as well as the HTML4 as email, if I just click this email, this input will be selected. If I just click this email, the input will be selected. So that's why we are using the HTML4 as email as well as the ID as also email. So it's like both of these things are linked. That's why we are using like so. And then I will explain why we are using the name here. So the next thing we are gonna do is the submit button. So sorry, not only the submit button, here we will be having a forgot password key, which is also hard coded. We don't have any functionalities for this forgot password key, as well as we will be having these things at the end also. So now here we will just so we will just wrap this h4 and another h4 with forgot password question mark. We will just wrap both of these things inside a div tag. Sorry, I think didn't make anything clear. So the class name is gonna be, so we won't just give a class name, we will just style it in line afterwards. So now let me just give a enter. So we will just make these things above. So that's it, we have put everything inside a div tag. And then what we gonna do, we will just have the submit button here. So to have that, button, we will have a button with a type which equals submit, and then what we can do, we can have a class name which equals auth dash btn to style that. And then so here we will be having a condition, if is sign up is true, is if we are inside the sign up page, then we will just display as sign up. and then if we are not inside the sign up page, we have to show it like a login. So that's what we are doing here. So you can see now it is login, like, so the button is like the login, but if I just make this thing as true, you can see now it is sign up. So that's the difference between the login page as well as the sign up page. So now let me just clear this thing as a false thing. So now we are inside the login page. So below this button, what we can have, so below this form, we need a line, don't have an account, just go and sign up, like that. So by clicking the sign up, we have to change the page to this thing. So that's what we are going to do here. Below this form, we're going to have a p tag with is sign up with condition is sign up if already have an account, then just go ahead and just log in. So if you don't have an account, then so that's what I'm gonna enter. If you just, so here is a typo. So to do that, we can use escape strings, like, so instead we can just wrap it with the double quotes. So that's how we can do that. Don't have an account, don't have an account, then just go ahead and log in. Sorry, go ahead and sign up. So you can see we are inside the login page, so it shows like don't have an account. So next we have to indicate as sign up. So the sign up button is, it's just a button. So we wanna have a button, and the type is gonna be submit. Not submit. The type is gonna be button. Here this is a submit button, so we can submit this entire form. But here it is gonna be a button to accomplish an action to change the page from login to a sign up or sign up to a login. So that's why. So we're gonna just give a class name for this as handle switch button. So this is this thing gonna handle the switch, and then we're gonna have a btn as well, and then inside that we're gonna just display if is sign up. Sorry, I entered as a is sign up. So if sign up is true, we have to indicate as login. So if sign up is false, then we're gonna just do it as a sign up. So if we are inside the login page, we have to as don't have an account, then just go ahead and sign up. So we have to handle this sign up. So on clicking this button, we have to go to this sign up page. So that's what we are gonna do the next thing as. So here for doing that, here we will add an event handler called onClick, which I have explained about this onClick earlier in many lectures. So onClick, we will give a function called handle switch, like so. So in here we're gonna just write a function of handle switch, which is gonna be equals to an arrow function. So what we gonna do here, we gonna just set a sign up of not of this sign up. So what I have done here, I'm just going to handle the switch. If handle switch is clicked, so what I have done, I'm just going to set is sign up of, I'm just going to pass the not value of is sign up. So if sign up is true, then I'm just going to pass the not value of is sign up, which means false. If it is false already, then we are just passing the true value. So let me just refresh now. So you can see if I just click sign up, now this is a login page. You can see in the at the end of the form we have a sign up button, as well as at the end we are asking for already I have an account. Just go ahead and log in like so. So here let me just have a capital A. So now we have several things in a sign up page. We have a lot more things, like here are some things as well. Here are some things as well. We do have a checkbox here, which is also hard coded, which has nothing to deal with our application. As well as here we do have some things also. So we are now going to target these things, as well as we do have some additional information like email name, as well as here is a forgot password, and here we don't have a forgot password. So if this is a sign-in page, we have to remove this forgot password. So we can have a condition here before this h1 tag. What is that condition is gonna be? So here we will just have a curly brace first. Inside that, what we're gonna do, we just gonna ask is sign up. So if is sign up is false, then I'm just going to give a and logical and. So if this condition is true, this condition will also be displayed. So whereas inside the sign up page, so here forgot password is not displayed. If I just click the login button, so here it is displayed. So that's what this equation means. So what I have done, if this condition is true, then this condition will also be written. So if it is false, we won't return this h4. This is how we can write a condition in between React without using an if-else statement. So now we have to add an additional information called display name here. So what we can do, we go up here, we're just going to have another condition called if is sign up, is sign up. So if is sign up is true, what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to have a logical and I'm just going to have a curly brace. In here, I'm just going to have a label tag. Sorry, it is not auto completing. So inside this label tag, we'll just give an enter. Here I'm just going to say an HTML4 as well, which equals name. And then in here, I'm just going to have another h4 tag with a key called display name. Sorry, display. What this thing is doing, I don't know what. Display name like so, and then I'm just going to have another input tag with the type as text, as well as the ID is gonna be name as well, because what we this is the name we have given to the HTML4 is the same as ID, and then we want to just give the name is also equals to the name. So that's it. Now let me just refresh. So if we go to the login page, we got an additional input tag called display name here. So below this navbar, we got the display name a key like this, email h4 tag like this as an email, like display name there. So we have done this thing too. Then what we're gonna do, the next thing is we're gonna do these things also now. So to do that, we go to the password, and below the password, here what we're gonna say, we will first check is sign up is true. If is sign up, if this sign up is true, then I'm just going to do a logical AND with the p tag. So inside this p tag, I'm just going to have the statement like this. So let me just copy this thing and paste it down here. So now it has we have to give a backspace, and we will just give a space down here, as well as we have to give a backspace here also. So let me just refresh. We will go to the same page. We have a long line here, but what here has we have done at least 8. After 8 we have just breaking the statement to characters, and after 1 we are giving a break. So that's what we want to do here. After at least 8, I'm just going to give a BR, then after at least 1 and 1, I'm just going to give a BR then slash, and that's it. We have done here. So and then we do need to have a checkbox here. So to have a checkbox in here, we are gonna just have condition, the same condition like is sign up is true. We are just checking is sign up true. If it is true, so give me a minute. So is sign up is true. If is sign up is true, then I'm just going to give a logical AND. Inside that, I'm just going to have a parenthesis of label as well. So inside that label tag, first we will just give a HTML for as check. Sorry, as check, and inside this input we're gonna give the type as checkbox. So if I just give the type for an input as checkbox, you can see here is a checkbox. Now I can check that nicely. So and I'm just going to give an ID of check to match the HTML for, and then following this thing we're gonna have a p tag also. The p tag is gonna be inside the p tag we're gonna have these elements as well. So let me just copy this. So let me just paste it down here. So after occasional we're gonna need a BR, a break as well. So here we're gonna need this, as well as after invitation we're gonna have a break like so. So now what we can do, we can just go one steps back here each. So we put everything in a single line. So now we have styled this thing also. So this is why we are using ID as well as HTML check. We don't want to go to this particular thing and check. We can just click on this text so that it will be checked. So now what we can do, the next thing is going to be this things. So let me just copy this. So to achieve these terms of services, privacy policy as well as cookie policy in blue, we have to achieve those things as in blue. So after sign up button, so this is the sign up button type is equal to submit. So after this we want to need that. So what we gonna say first, as everything here, we have to just going to check the is sign up, and we will just give a logical and then we're gonna have a parenthesis, and inside that we're just going to have a p tag. So inside the parenthesis the auto completing is not working, so that's why it makes me tense a bit. So inside that p tag we will just paste these things, but after the by clicking to R, so until this these things are in black, but inside the terms of we gonna need it to be in a blue color. So to do that we're gonna put these things inside a span tag. So let me just copy this, the closing tag, and put it down here. So sorry, just for these terms of service, sorry, the terms of service up to here, and then we want to start it again here. We'll just copy this span tag, we will just going to put it down here, and we're gonna close the span tag before the and here, and we're gonna just open the span tag again before, sorry, after the and, as well as we will close the span tag to here. So that's it. And in here I think the sentence is too long. After the terms of we gonna need a br, and that's it. So let me just refresh. You can see now everything is fine. We will go to the sign up page. We have a lot of things here. So now we have to make these things as color. So what I can do, we can just do the inline styling. We will just give an enter to everything. So here also. So that's it. We will just give a space here and a space to here, to give a space in here as well as here, and that's it. Now we can just give an inline styling. Let me just I'm just going to type in all the 3 lines by clicking with Alt. So I'm just going to give a space as well as style attribute, and inside that we're gonna have an object of color, which is gonna be hash 007 and AC and 6. So this is going to be the color. So now everything inside this span tag is now in blue color. So that's what we need as well, and we want to just give another color for these p tags also. To do that, we're gonna copy this exact thing and put it inside this p tag, and we're gonna just change the color first. So the color is gonna be hash 666 and then 767, and also I'm just going to reduce the font size also to 30px. So I'm just going to make things simpler. So here I think we need a colon, because object we have to use a colon. Just refresh the page, go to the sign up page. So now you can see the color, the font has been changed to all of the things now. So now the next thing what we're gonna do, so we can also change the font size of these things also. This is also big, so to do that we just copy this thing and paste it in this p tag. So I don't want this color, it is just going to be the same thing. I'm doing all these things to just mimic the Stack Overflow clone exact thing. So that's why we are doing as well. And Here I'm just going to have the same style in here also for these passwords. So this is also now in a different color as well as the in a smaller text. So now we're gonna just create this thing. So we will just create that in a separate file. So what I can do, I'm just going to name it as about auth dot jsx. So inside that I'm just going to have an array and I'm just going to import that array here. Sorry, import that auth about auth here. So let me just copy this now. I'm just going to paste this about the container. So let me just check if this sign up is true. If it is true, and then I'm just going to return the about auth component. So let me just save. So now inside here we're gonna have those lines also. So I don't want to make things these things also to teach because these things are just copied from the original Stack Overflow website to just mimic the exact Stack Overflow look. So that's why I have done those things. So let me just paste the exact code here. You can just go through this code which will be provided in the GitHub link. So this is really simple. I'm just naming the class auth container as the class name of the div as auth container 1, and I'm just having a h1 tag, some p tags as well as few p tags with a blue color. So this blue color, and a light black, which is with less opacity. That's what this thing is. So that's what we have done in here. So let me just go down here. We have those lines also. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna style this page now. So to style that, let me just check once everything is correct or not. We'll go to the auth. So inside the auth everything is clear now. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just I have left one installing this thing, the password as well as the forget password, which has to come side by side. You can see it here. So I have left that. So let me just make that also clear here. So let me just navigate to that place. So it is here. Here I'm just going to have a style, and to that I'm just going to have an object of text styling is going to be right. Sorry, I'm just going to give a display flex. Display is going to be flex for that, and then I'm just going to have a justify content as space between, but here it has to be a colon space between, like so. And so now this thing is up here, but don't worry, we will style this thing, and we will just give a different color of blue for that. So we will just copy that down here. So we have to copy the same thing. Sorry, I'm just going to give a blue color, so I have to copy this and paste it down here where I think I have left it out. So it is here. I messed up for that also. So let me just leave this thing as a p tag. I don't want it to be an h4 tag, so let me just leave it as a p tag. So I don't want it to be a bigger thing, and here I'm just going to leave as a font size of 13px. So now this is a smaller one as well as a blue color one. So that's it. We can go to the login page, sorry, the signup page as well. So now we're gonna just style this thing in the Auth CSS file. We will go to the Auth CSS file. First thing we're gonna select is the Auth section, the main tab, main root container, and inside that Auth section we're gonna have a min height of 100 VH. We want to just give the min height of 100 VH, means just the whole size of the entire browser. So min height is going to be 100 VH. Min height means the minimum height of the page, so it can be extended. It won't be restricted to 100 VH. So the margin is going to be 0 and auto as well. And then I'm just going to give a background color of -f1, f2, sorry, f and 3. So now I'm just refresh. I'm just going to give a display of flex and justify contact as center and align items center. So what this thing means is, so I'm just going to put everything in the center. You can see now this icon and the form, and after the form we have a single line. Everything is in the center of the page, as plus these things are also in the center of the page, like so. So then, and we have a display flex. That's why this container as well as this is in side by side. That's why these things are side by side. So now we will go to the login page down here, and just going to select the, give me a moment. So now I'm just going to select this auth container, and so before that auth container, I'm just going to name this as auth container 2, because here I have named it as an auth container 1. So now we will select the auth container 1 first in the about auth page. So auth dash container dash 1, and we will give a padding of, sorry, everything is fishy. I'm just going to give a padding of 20px as well, and margin right as 30px. So let me just refresh. So now if I go to the login page, so in the before picture, these things is, both of the things are touching each other, but now I have given a padding as well as a margin for this container, so that's why it is separated from that. So the next thing, I'm just going to have a login dash logo, and I'm just going to give a padding of 20px and 30px. So what is the login logo? Which is nothing but this thing. So we are just giving a padding as well as a margin for this also. So the next thing is nothing but the auth container 2. We're gonna select the auth container 2. Which is the auth container 2? Is nothing but the auth page. So now you can see the padding in, has been applied to this logo. So now I'm just going to style the auth container 2, and in here we're just going to have a min width first, and which is going to be 20% of this entire page, and the display flex, I'm just going to give a display flex, and flex direction as column, and justify content as center as well, and the align items is gonna be center as also. So what this thing does, so this is to put everything one by one. So this is a element, and this forms an individual element, and this thing is an individual element. What I have done, I have provided display flex, which makes everything side by side like so, and if it is flex direction is column, we want to just put everything below, after the icon as well as after the form as well as after the sign up button. So the next thing is gonna be to style the dot auth container 2. We're gonna select the form inside this auth container, and we're gonna just give a width of 100% of this container. So not 1200%, is gonna be 100% as well, and the padding is gonna be of 20px as well, and the background color is gonna be white, and then we're gonna have a border radius of 20px, so 10px, to give a curvy edge. For that, you can see here's a curve as well as curve here everywhere. So here I have provided a padding. You can see here's a padding on every side. So then we're gonna just give a display of flex and flex direction as call. So display flex make everything side by side, you can see. So just take these things off and refresh. You can see everything is side by side now. What we gonna do, we just gonna have a flex direction as column. So now everything will be one below one. So you can see now password is below the, so everything is one below one, and now this submit login button, which is going to be below the password. Before that, it is side by side, it is next to this password input. This login button is previously here, now it is below that thing. So that's why we are doing this display flex as plus flex direction as column, and then we want to just give the justify content as space evenly as well. And so now I'm just going to have a box shadow for this entire box. So I didn't cover this box shadow in the CSS tutorial. So it may have 4 values. The first thing is going to be 0px, and then the second thing is going to be 10px, and the third thing is going to be 25px, as well as we're going to have a RGB. This is going to be the shadow color, which is going to be 5%. So this is nothing but a black color. So if I just refresh, we do have some backgrounds on this side, shadow on this side as well as on this side. So this is going to be 0, 10 as well as 25. This is nothing but RGBA of black color with opacity of 0.5%. That's why it is a bit dark on both the sides. So this 0 is nothing but the extent of this x-axis, and this 10 is nothing but the extent of that in the y-axis as well. and this 25 is nothing but the blur of that. So how blur it is. So that's why, but we can just make this several times for individual edges, for one for this edge and one for this edge as well as one for this edge as well as one for this edge. So I'm just going to give it for 3 edges, so 0 20 px, excuse me. 48px, and then I'm just going to have an RGB of 0 0 0 and divided by 5% as like in the above, and then I'm just going to have a 0 as well as 1px as well as 4px, and then an RGB of 0 0 0, and this is going to be a 10%, which means 0.1 in opacity. So if I just refresh, it will give a nice effect for us. So just refresh, go here, we got a nice background shadow here, but in here we didn't receive that because so now I think I missed anything. So now we got the background, sorry, the box shadow on 3 sides. That's why we are using the 3 sides. On the top it is really low, and then we just gonna select the auth container 2, and inside that we wanna select the form, inside that we wanna select the label as well. And inside the label we want to select the input tag also, and for that input tag I am going to give a padding of 10px. This padding is used to give us some space between this text as well as those border, so that's why this padding is used. We will just save and refresh. So now it provides a padding for me. You can see now this is a bigger one. So now I'm just going to give a width as well, to give a calculate of the width is going to be 100% minus 13px. This 13px is nothing but the padding on both these sides. So if you calculate this and this, it's going to be 30px. So if I just reduce it in the entire 100%, this is going to be the length, that length. So that's why I'm just going to calc. And the border, I'm just going to give a border of solid 1px, and color is going to be, say, zeros followed by 3e, which is 3e, which is nothing but a 0.5% of black opacity, black with 0.3% of opacity. So that's why I'm using that, and I'm just going to reduce the font size to 13px, which is going to be really a simple simple size font. And then what we're gonna do, we just going to select the h4 tags like this email, password, as well as we go to the sign up button, we select all the 3 things. So we're gonna just select all the 3 things and gonna reduce this margin of bottom as well as top, because the space between each and everything is large, quite large, so we have to reduce that margin. So to reduce that, we're gonna say the auth container 2 form and label is gonna be nth child of 1 and h4. So what I have done, I'm just going to select first, second and third child of a child of label. I'm just going to select the first, second and third label. I'm not going to select all the labels. So here I'm just going to give as 2 and here 3. So let me just refresh. So now we will go here. You can see this is the first, second label, third label. So I don't want to select this fourth, which is a text checkbox. I don't want to select this. So in here I'm just going to say margin bottom as 5px. I'm just going to reduce the margin bottom to 5px as well as margin top to 10px. So now the margin for both of the things has been reduced. You can see that, which is really nice. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna select the fourth label by just pasting things down here, and I'm just going to give the nth child as 4. We want to select the fourth child, which is nothing but the checkbox, and I'm just going to give a display flex so that it may put the checkbox and the text side by side. So let me just refresh and go to the sign up. So nothing is here. What happened? So this is not the H4 because we don't have a H4 inside that. So now everything is side by side. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna copy the same thing and we're gonna select the input of that particular label, the input inside this particular fourth label, which is nothing with this check, and I'm just going to give a width of 15% and a margin as 13px in the top and bottom as well as 0px in the left and right. So let me just refresh and go to the sign up. So now this checkbox is right away next to this text. So that's what we want in here. You can see the same as that. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna style this auth button in here. So to check that, I'm just going to have a auth-btn class name, and inside that I'm just going to give a margin top as 10px so that it will give a space between the input and the button. So you can see we got space between this input as well as this button. That's why we have done that margin, and as well as I'm just going to give a padding as 10px and 5px. So then I'm just going to give a background color as #009 DFF, and the border is going to be solid 1px #009 DFF, and the color is going to be white. So the text color is going to be white. So just refresh now. You can see that the button is nice, but some things are missing. So the next thing is going to be the border radius, border-radius of 5px as well, and the next thing is going to be cursor, is going to be pointer. The next thing is transition of 0.2 seconds. So I'm just going to give a background color of another dark blue while hovering that button. That's why I'm giving a transition of 0.2 seconds, and I'm just going to give a font size of 13px And the next thing is gonna be a font weight, which is gonna be 500. And while hovering that button, we're gonna say a background color of #018 CE3. And then I'm just going to handle switch button, so which is the sign up and as well as the login button, just the same thing. So I think here we do need to have a hyphen, and this is going to be the same as button, but the only thing, we don't have the background. We just leave the background color as transparent, and then we're gonna just give the color as blue. Before we have provided the color as white, and the background color is black, sorry, blue, background color is a blue. So we have just altered that here, az6, and then we're gonna have a border of none. We don't need a border, we're just going to look it as an empty, and I'm just going to change the font size to 13px as well, and then I'm just going to give a cursor of pointer like so. So now let me just refresh. We will have this nice button, and you can see it as a transition while I'm hovering, as well as we got the sign up button. So now everything looks fine, everything looks exact to this thing. So that's what we have done in here. So to check that validity, if I enter just any name without it is not an email, because it don't have any at, we just login, it shows like please include an at in the email address. So at is missing. So that's why I'm using type equals email for this input. So guys, that's all we have done with this authentication page UI. Now we're gonna just style this UI of the home page in the next lecture. Thank you.